Here on KTN News Desk, my name is Akisa Wandera. The Senate Committee elections enters the last day today, even as the upper house seeks to fully constitute the leadership of the various house committees. Mandera Senator Mohamed Maalim Mahmood was this morning elected unopposed as the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance and Budget. Mahmood will be deputized by Jubilee-nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura. Our senior parliamentary reporter, Patrick Amimo, has been following up these elections at Parliament, and earlier on he spoke to a number of people. Here are the excerpts from that particular interview.
Is the chairperson, Mohamed Maalim. What do we expect from you, Senator, as the chair of the Finance and Budget Committee?
Thank you very much. This is a very important committee of the Senate. We will be dealing, of course, budget issues of budget, both the national and county government, revenue allocation between the two levels of government. We will, of course, as a committee, ensure that there is openness and accountability in terms of public finances, so that public finances are used properly and soundly and put to proper use. We will, of course, be oversighting the county, so that monies that are allocated for public purposes are actually used for that purpose. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, and I would like to thank my members of the committee who elected me. And the issues ahead of us are very serious, very important for this country. In fact, during this period also, we are supposed to look at the formula for sharing of revenue between counties. Now we are doing the second formula is being used. We'll come for the third one. It's going to be very challenging because the parameters that are being used now will have to be looked at. We will ensure that it is actually very equitable, so that all the counties actually get their share properly. So the task ahead of us is very enormous, and we in the committee are up to the task. And I thank the members for electing me as this committee. Thank you.
Talking about shareable revenue, it's been a contentious issue between the national government and vis-a-vis the county government. They've wanted always to have that shareable revenue increased from the constitutionally provided 15%. As a committee, how are we going to see this issue in the 12th Parliament maybe pan out?
In fact, at the beginning, CRA will of course come up with the indicator of how we are going to share the revenue between the two levels of government. It comes to Parliament. We in the Senate would like to look at the interests of the Senate properly, because the Senate is supposed to look at the interests of the counties, and without, of course, compromising the quality of work at the national level. We will reasonably and objectively look at those formulas and look at the whatever is proposed, so that both levels of government function properly without compromising the work at any given level of the government.
Looking at it, in the 11th Parliament, there was that rivalry between the Senate and the National Assembly when it came to shareable revenue. You could find that the Senate could come up maybe with an idea to increase the monies, but when it comes to the National Assembly, it shoots down that particular proposal, and maybe the matter ends up in a mediation committee where maybe nothing much happens. Are we likely going to see witness similar scenarios in this 12th Parliament between the Senate and the National Assembly when it comes to shareable revenue?
You are right. There has been acrimony between the two houses in the last Parliament, the 11th Parliament. We expect this time this to be toned down, so that all of us are working for this country. The counties, the national government are our government. We would like to see what is objective, what actually works, what is possible, without trying to see who is mightier, which house is actually mightier, which house has got more power. The issue which should be guiding us is what is good for this country, so that the functions that are devolved and functions that are retained in the national government both are actually attended to and funded properly.
Thank you. That has been Mandera Senator, who is also the chairperson of the Finance and Budget Committee, Mohamed Maalim, just trying to share with us on what we expect for the Finance and Budget Committee. And just joining me is the vice chairperson of the committee, nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura. Senator Mwaura, looking at it, the issue of budget and finance, we've had the county governments want maybe more allocations, but then there's concern on how this money is utilized. As a committee, how will you ensure that there is value for money?
Thank you, Patrick. I really want to first thank God and also my Jubilee Party for having nominated me as a candidate for this position, and also all the senators from across the political divide who voted for me and the chair to give leadership to this committee. There is a challenge when it comes to the way counties are using monies, and the first challenge that is there is that counties are supplementing their allocation with the commercial loans. They are borrowing from banks locally, and the last time we checked, there was over 40 billion debt, and yet we still have pending bills. That's a very serious challenge. It reeks of corruption because they are not approved by the Treasury. So I don't know who is guaranteeing these loans. It's an issue that we need to look at. Number two, there is an issue of revenue raising measures because they are raising money, but they are spending the money at source. If, for example, you look at Kiambu County, the Office of the Controller of Budget report of 2016-2017 is very clear. Over 400 million could not be accounted for when it was used at source in the election year. So you cannot, when you raise money, it first has to go to the account, the county account, before you can use it. But when you use it at source, it's very difficult because